What's good with y'all, man? It's Noble. Today I'm going to be showing y'all my in-depth process behind making euphoric R&B samples for artists such as Drake and Bryson Tiller. I'm going to be giving away a lot of my secrets in this video, so make sure you watch all the way to the end. And yeah, without further ado, let's get straight into the video. Alright, so before I break it down, this is what the final sample sounds like. Crazy. So this whole sample actually started with this ARP from an XY Nothing kit. I started off by lowering the BPMs to 94 and I got this. For effects here I have two EQs, one to lower the high mids and one to cut the lows. Then I also have this plugin called Freak and a little bit of Supermassive. The most important thing though is these two portal presets. One's called Crystals and the other's called Fantasy. If I had them on entirely for all 8 bars it would not sound good, but with these automations that I'm about to play you'll see what role they're playing. So this one basically turns this section into kind of particle accent, and this one essentially reverses into itself. So from here I dragged in a starter from Younger Next Life. Originally it sounded like this, but with the right key, BPM, and effects we got this. So you're gonna notice that that's the chord change, and then right here he has a little bit of a switch up. Chords become a little bit more stereo, wider, and a lead comes in. Very euphoric. So the most important effect here is the creamy snowflakes on Guitar Rig 6. Not only does it give it reverb and delay, but it also gives it a subtle amount of distortion. Not enough to make it sound distorted, but just enough to make it sound more full. The reverb and crystallizer also help with that, and same with the vintage verb. So essentially the idea behind the sample is this. So the next thing I added was an accent for my upcoming Aurora one-shot kit. Originally it sounded like this. With effects and at the right pitch we got this. Crazy. So the effect chain here is actually the same as the ARP, but what I'm doing to give it that particle effect is maxing the portal levels, again on the Crystals preset and Fantasy preset. Here's what the effects look like for the next accent. Very subtle, it's pretty much just texture. From here I took another accent from Aurora and applied the same effect chain. So from here I went back to the ARP and maxed the portal levels just to render this out as a secondary texture, but I kept the portal levels as an automation for the actual sound. That way I had 2 layers. And this layer is responsible for a lot of the ambience in the final sample. From here we got a run from XY called Therme. And with the effect chain we get this. From here I took this texture from a different XY kit and I just cut it up a little bit. And with effects we get this. From here you should be starting to see how much work this effect chain is really doing. And it's the same for all these accents. Once you have a really good effect chain, it's really just about finding the right choices for accents and textures and ambience, because you know that the chain is going to be able to make everything sound good. It's just about finding the accents that sound great instead of good. With euphoric R&B samples like this, you want everything to have a purpose and for all the accents to come together and form a cohesive product. From here I decided to record some of my own vocals. I know it didn't really matter how I sounded as long as I was hitting the right notes because of the amount of effects I was going to put on. So this is what the 2 layers sound like together. Now the next layer is actually that same octave vocal copied. I just added a tremolator and an EQ to cut the lows and highs. And the tremolator is really giving the vocal movement. From here I went to Serum and chose this lead called Basic. I played this on my MIDI keyboard back there and just quantized it. Quick tip, if you want your leads in Serum to glide, just go down to this knob called Portamento Time. For a nice clean slide, I will go to about 80 milliseconds. From there, I just applied the effect chain. Crazy. Thankfully, the starter that I was using already had an A and B section, so I just copied all my layers over and let the starter do the work for the arrangement. And there actually ended up being so many stems in the sample that the stems ended up being 10 minutes long. But yeah, for master effects, I'm using what I always use, BK Master Deck Classic with the A preset, Sketch Cassette, and a soft clipper. I use a sound shifter to quickly find a pitch that I think the sample sounds good at, but when I want to change the key, I export the sample at the original pitch, and I change it in a new FLP as I'm about to show you. And that's because I feel like it sounds more high quality than using this plugin. Before exporting, we had this. So in the new FOP, I just pitched it down 300, and yeah, this is what the final sample sounds like. That's going to be about it for the video, y'all. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to subscribe and also like the video. I want to say thank you for 2K so much. I really do appreciate it. Make sure you go follow my Instagram at proud.noble. Go cop Cadence, first link in the description. And get ready for Aurora, man. Coming soon. This one track kit is going to have everything, and it should be dropping sometime in March. So definitely be ready for that. I'm out of here. Crazy.